What's going on, everyone, and welcome to today's weather update for Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. Taking a look at the National Hazards and Warnings map from the National Weather Service, you can see we have a very active picture as a large-scale system is now coming onshore on the west coast. It is going to affect literally from the west coast straight on through to the east coast in one way or another. The biggest impact from this system is going to be the winter weather that happens along and north of the I-80s and I-90 corridors. Take a look here at the winter storm warnings that we have up in the northern plains. That would be in the purplish pink color, and the purple color, actually, we do have winter weather advisory surrounding that, while the pink is winter storm warnings. These orange colors, yes, those are actually blizzard warnings. There are going to be blizzard conditions with this system in multiple areas here in Wyoming, in Montana, and also in North Dakota and portions of Minnesota, where heavy snowfall amounts are projected. Let's take a look at some of these snowfall amounts, shall we? Here's the Sussex Falls, South Dakota, where they are forecasting what? For the blizzard warning, blizzard conditions expected. For the winter weather advisory, mixed precipitation is expected. Storm total snow accumulations of 12 to 22 inches. That's right, 12 to 22 inches of snow. And some ice accumulations of a light glaze with winds gusting as high as 50 miles per hour. We also have the winter storm watches that are up in portions of New England. And here's what National Weather Service out of Burlington is going for all of northern New York, central, and northern Vermont. What? Heavy snowfall, total snow accumulations of 7 or more inches, with ice accumulations of a light glaze possible in Rutland and Winslow counties, which is in Vermont. And this is from Wednesday evening through Thursday afternoon. We will time all this out for you momentarily. Let's get over to radar, shall we? Taking a look at the national picture here, as you can see, our system right now, the first part of the system is centered right here over Montana and Wyoming. You can see there's some snow breaking out ahead of that. And the rest of the energy is still coming onshore here in California, Oregon, and Portland. And this is going to slowly transition east throughout the week. There's actually another weak system over here in Pennsylvania. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Alrighty, getting over to the satellite picture. Similar deal. You can see the system is starting to come onshore on the west. Here's that weak system over Pennsylvania. And I do want to draw attention to that weak system real quickly, because in that area, as you can see here, there is a marginal risk for severe weather. So let's take a look at that marginal risk in Pennsylvania, portions of Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey. No risk of tornado. However, I will tell you this, there was a model that was suggesting a small risk for a spin-up of a possible funnel cloud or even weak tornado. So don't be surprised if you do see some potential severe weather today in that area as the system comes through. All right, taking a look at the RGEM model here. As you can see here, there's that Clipper system north of the Great Lakes. Here's that weak system that comes over Pennsylvania. Anything in yellow here in the orangish color, that's a possible thunder shower or thunderstorm with this system as it passes through. Not a big deal. Here's our bigger system here in the plains and Midwest. It's starting to gather moisture at this point. This would be tonight around 8 or 9 p.m. As you can see, ongoing light to moderate snow would be occurring at this point from portions of Wisconsin back through Minnesota and into the Dakotas. And in the Rocky Mountains, you are experiencing really heavy snow, and you're going to have some real windy conditions on the higher elevations. You could see winds gusting up to 60 to 70 miles per hour in the higher elevations of the mountains. And as we move this on, as we get into Wednesday morning, the snow continues here across the plains and the western portions of the Great Lakes. Generally moderate at this point, but it could become heavy at times as we get into Wednesday afternoon and evening. Tomorrow afternoon in Pennsylvania, we do have rain breaking out south of I-80. North of I-80, some icing, especially for the Poconos. This model here, I'm using the RGEM model, and that is showing a little bit of snow at the onset. This will move into New York State tomorrow evening. And look what happens behind us here, south of this. You do have a severe weather threat from Louisiana on up into Illinois. And if we go back to the Storm Prediction Center real quickly, you can see, oh, that's fire weather. If you go back to the Storm Prediction Center, here we go. From Oklahoma on up into Illinois, there is a slight risk of severe weather with a small chance of a tornado, the biggest threat being wind, and a small chance of hail in this area. So we'll have to watch that. North of that, you can see we have our icing line, which is going to be setting up just north of Chicago now. There's some good agreement on the models with that. And north of that icing line into Michigan, you're going to continue to see heavy snow, and you're going to get a swath where the main system sets up shop out here in the Midwest. I think that 12 to 22 inch where the blizzard warnings, I think that is a good bet. At least for 12 inches, I think is a good bet. Surrounding those areas, you're looking at a good 6 to 10 inches north of that blizzard warning and south of that blizzard warning, where it will drop off relatively quick on the south side. And let's continue this on here. So this is the initial portion of the system, which will provide New England with most of its snow. Really heavy snowfall rates here from New York State. Even into Boston, you could get into some brief heavy snow rates before you flip over to ice or plain rain, and rates could exceed 1 to 2 inches per hour in this initial band. Here comes the secondary portion of the system, which is the main show for out here in the plains. After you're seeing your hours and hours of prolonged overrunning, you'll get this secondary system that gets going, and that's going to provide strong gusty winds. There will be a period in New England at this point on Thursday morning where the snow is going to change over to a little bit of a mix. Now notice I'm saying Thursday morning. This system has sped up in time by, I would say, about 3 to 6 hours. I would say the heavier snow for New England is now going to come in the overnight hours of Wednesday going into Thursday. But don't get me wrong, Thursday all day is not a pretty day. You're going to have snow all day long with a mixture of sleet and maybe even some freezing rain at times. This low will eventually work its way across the Great Lakes throughout the day on Thursday, and it should get off the coast on early Friday morning. As you can see here, it does pick up the precipitation again after that period of lighter precipitation, which will be around for most of the day on Thursday. Thursday evening and Thursday night, northern Maine and northern New Hampshire and Vermont, you do come into moderate snow again. So you could see additional couple inches of snow in this area, while southern New Hampshire will be mixed, and it will eventually cool off by mid-morning on Friday, and you're left behind with really windy conditions. As that low deepens off the coast, you could see 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. So how much snow am I talking for that area? My personal thoughts are as follows. We'll just use this map, and mind you, this is a 10 to 1 ratio map, which is, it's not the best map to use, but it does get the general idea. And we'll just go region by region here real quickly. And as you can see here, this map is showing a general 12 to 18 inches in the green area, which is fairly impressive. And I do agree, places with the blizzard warnings will see 12 plus inches of snow. As for New England, which I will show you here, this is showing a general 6 to 10 inches of snow, and I agree with that. I think there could be amounts up to 10 inches in the northern or in the higher elevations of the mountains, like the Green Mountains and the White Mountains, even portions of New York State. If you get that really heavy band going at the beginning of this system, where it's dropping 1 to 2 inches per hour rates, 6 to 10 inches is possible, and this is even showing isolated 12-inch amounts, but mind you, that is counting some of the sleet as snow. And for those wondering who don't understand what these maps show, don't understand what the models show, in the near future, I'm going to be doing a new channel series on how to read weather data and how to read computer models, snowfall maps, precipitation maps to make it easier for you to understand this stuff. Real quickly, looking at the GFS here. The GFS is showing a similar thing. However, the GFS does start central Pennsylvania as a brief period of ice before that shifts to north of I-80. Here we are on Thursday morning where you're getting heavy snow across New England. Then you get that lull. This is a little more pronounced with the lull. It shows it a bit better. And then another round of light to moderate precip comes before it exits the coast. Behind us, the GFS by Saturday is already showing a warm-up with a weak system and warm front that comes through. And as we get into next week, another warm-up comes. Look at this. Plus the threat of severe weather in the south yet again, and even maybe some severe weather in the portions of the mid-Atlantic next week. Alright, thanks for watching today's weather update video. If you live in the corridor of the major winter storm, generally north of Interstate 80, I would start preparing now, especially in the places that are in blizzard warnings. Prepare to be snowed in potentially for a couple days, and you might even lose power. So keep plenty of extra bottle of water. Make sure your generator has plenty of gas and fuel to keep that running, and make sure you have several days worth of extra food. If you must travel, keep an emergency preparedness kit such as a blanket, extra food, extra water in the vehicle with you. Alright, stay safe everyone, and if you like the content on my channel, hit the like and subscribe button down below. See you again next time.